Finally. Okay, I'm recording. Oh man, y'all. Okay, this is me in homeschool mom. This is mom life for me, right? Mom brain. Since we weren't on Facebook like I'm used to. Okay, so I'm Kelsey. I am a mom of three. I'm a homeschool mom, and I wanted to get this class together tonight, y'all, so that you could see your options. We're not going to just talk about homeschool, but we are going to talk about homeschool. We're going to talk about the importance of it and the importance of your health, which are other things I'm really passionate about as a life coach and a Diamond Wellness Advocate with doTERRA. And all of those things are super important and intertwined. So we're going to talk tonight about schooling and education and tips to keep your kids healthy and all the things. So thanks for joining us. So this is what I wanted to start with tonight, though. I wanted to know y'all's concerns. So whoever's on here right now that wants to type in or raise your hand, I can unmute you. We can. I want to make sure we answer your exact questions tonight. That's really, really important to me. So I know we all have different things we're thinking about right now. Some people their kids have already started school again. They're already back in school. Some people are homeschooling for the first time ever right now. And some of y'all are still trying to decide, do you want to homeschool? Do you not want to homeschool? Do you want to do a hybrid option? What are you going to do, right? There's so many things to think about right now. So I want to hear from y'all. What are your concerns? And if you want to, like I said, type them in or whatever, what you're thinking about, like what are your choices? I've talked to a few of the ladies who are going to talk tonight just about all the things and how it's so new this year. And it's kind of crazy, but it's kind of exciting to me because it's got a lot of us as parents thinking about things that I think we should be thinking about, like these important questions. So here's a few of the things that I think we're going to try to hit on tonight. And I wanted to just throw this out here because I know some of you were probably thinking some of these things, but if there's something on here that you're thinking of something else, there's something else that's not on here, please tell us. Please, like I said, chat in because we want to answer your questions, but we're going to try to cover most of these concerns as much as we can, right? Like, what does it look like? Socialization, affording homeschool, feeling qualified, choosing curriculums, falling behind, are we doing enough? Scheduling, all that. We're going to try to hit on a little bit of all of that because I have lots of different people on here speaking tonight, which I'm really excited about. There's actually 5 of us on here, and we're all doing something different. I think only a couple of us are doing almost the exact same thing, and that's me and Jody. So we'll try not to say the same things, but mostly we're all doing different things. So you're going to get to hear lots of different, answers to these questions, and something's going to resonate with you. So I'm going to introduce you to our first speaker in just a minute because she can answer a lot of these questions, and I'm super honored to have her on here too. But let's start with this, okay? So what are your options? Like we just said, right? So public school, for some people, it looks somewhat similar, and so they've already decided, let's go back. In some places, it looks nothing like public school has ever looked before, and so it's got them thinking, okay, distance learning, what is this about? Or even if they're going back, are they, not going to be with other kids? Are they going to have to wear a mask? Like all these things, right? It's just so different. So that's why we're sharing with you guys about some other options. Homeschool, of course, used to be something maybe some people were freaked out about. A lot more moms are open to it right now. So that's really cool. And then, of course, there's always hybrid options, and there's lots of different hybrid options out there. You can do private school, you can do charter schools, and it differs by state for some of the things that they offer. Because I know our next speaker, Maria, she is from California, and she's going to talk to you guys a little bit about some of the options they have in California, which I think are different than what we have in Texas. Maybe I don't fully know because I don't do any hybrid. We've just homeschooled, but we do take our kids, actually I should say, 1 day a week now to a private school. So we are kind of hybrid too, I guess, but we've never done charter school, so I'm not the one to understand that, but she does know more about that. So she's going to share with us, y'all, about all of this. So I'm going to let Maria kind of introduce herself and go through some of her stuff with y'all, but I'm just so thankful that she's on here. As y'all can see, she's going to be a wealth of information. She's been a public school teacher and a homeschool mom for a long, long time. So thank you, Maria.
Long time. I just turned 40 the other day and I was sad for like a week. I was like, 2020 doesn't even count. This birthday doesn't even count, okay? I should get a do-over for 40. I don't like it. So, in California, it might be a little different from from your states, but in our state, we have 4 different options to homeschool. 2 are the least popular, but the 2 that are the most popular, because I'm short on time, I'll talk about the 2 most popular ones. One is the public charter, which is a public homeschool charter. Your kids are legally enrolled in a public charter school, but the school, when they get their funding from the state, instead of taking all of the funding for the school like most public brick and mortar charters do, they give some of that funding to the parents. So the parents are then they have the flexibility to be able to supplement their kids' education with the state funding that they're already paying for anyway in taxes, that the school is already receiving for. So my kids have done private music lessons, horseback riding, swimming, all cooking, all kinds of different things. Now, normally families use those funds for things that they would outsource anyway. So I don't necessarily want someone teaching my kids history that much. I'm comfortable with doing language arts. I'm comfortable with doing all the core stuff, the 3 R's basically, but I can't teach them swimming, karate, all these other things, music. So we use those funds for that kind of stuff. In exchange for being enrolled in the school, we turn in our attendance once a month. So we just go on the website, click 20 boxes, sign, submit, and we submit work samples, 1 work sample per month. Like, it literally cannot be any easier. Like, if you would just, your workbook, if they do 1 page on Abraham Lincoln, you turn it into your teacher, you're done for the month. Those are the 2 main requirements that we have for the year. We're allowed to use any curriculum we want. We cannot submit faith-based curriculum, like any kind of religious curriculum, but it doesn't mean we can't use it. We just can't submit it, and the school cannot purchase it for us. It's state funds with religious materials. But that's pretty much it. The other option that is most popular is the PSA option, which is the option that a lot of families are using right now and have been using pretty much since before the whole charter homeschool thing got popular. And that is where you go online and you submit 1 document to the state that says your home is now basically a private school. That's it. Your kids are now enrolled in a private school. You don't get any government funding, but you also get no supervision, no, strings attached. You do whatever you want, full freedom to do whatever. So that's one of the most popular ones here. San Diego tends to be a little bit more red than, other blue cities. So a lot of PSA, a lot of private homeschoolers here, because they're like, I don't want any government funding and I don't want any government strings attached. So, they tend to do their own thing. That's one of the options that's very, very popular. Now, in San Diego, we have like perfect weather, like 360 days a year. So our program that we do a hybrid option, and that is an option that families have to be outdoors with a group of kids, for their kids to be with a group of kids 2 days a week. And then the other 3 days, they hit the books at home in any style that they want. And the outdoor locations that we have are in nature, like in parks and lakes and museums and the safari park, like the San Diego Zoo. So twice a week, parents drop their kids off with us with our particular program. But there's all kinds of different programs that do this, that do 2 days a week, which is kind of like a hybrid option. Most families attend completely for free because the schools pay for it, which is really great. And families still get full freedom to do whatever curriculum they want at home. We don't assign curriculum or check homework or anything like that. So that's kind of a balance between both ways, not just homeschooling all day, every day at home by yourself, and not 5 days a week in a public school setting, but a nice balance. And the kids are out in the community, and we take more of a Little House on the Prairie, Reading Rainbow, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood kind of approach, right? Where, you read a book about recycling and then you go to the dump for the field trip, right? That's hands-on learning. My niece wants to be a vet, so she takes her biology classes at the San Diego Zoo every week, and she goes and she works with zookeepers, animal keepers, vets, and she's getting that hands-on experience, while at home we do the 3 R's, right? The stuff that I can do on my own. So those are a couple different options in San Diego and California in general. Now, are there any questions so far?
No, that's awesome. I love that y'all have so many options. I feel like in Texas, we pretty much we don't have the charter thing, right? Maybe Jody, you can re-clarify for me, but or Cassie, I've never heard of that. We pretty much can do like what you're saying. We don't have any requirements. So we don't have to do the affidavit, say we're a private school. We just can homeschool and we have no regulations. Kind of like what you're saying is really popular. We have no regulations, which I really like. And then you can do a private school. Like a lot of us send our kids like 1 day or something to a private school, but as far as I've heard, there's no outside funding unless it's a scholarship or something like that in terms of helping you with that. So but
Yeah.
that's really awesome.
No outside funding. Darn it.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
cool.
it's really unique. It's really unique in California, but then you get California. So it's like, it's, balance it out, whatever.
Yeah.
Um, so one main concern I think that a lot of new homeschooling families have is that they may not think that they're doing enough, and they think that in order to homeschool, their kids also have to be doing school 6 hours a day. And that's not at all what it looks like. I mean, I think I did 2 hours today with my 8-year-old. He did his science, he does his math, we read, we do audio, social studies, and that's it. I mean, it takes a couple hours. The rest of the time, he's out there being Mowgli in the backyard, chasing lizards and looking for snakes and all the things that he does, because that's just the kind of kid that he is. And I don't want to limit and put him in, put a square peg in a round hole. I don't want to do that. I want to let him be who he is and let him explore his interests. So we do the basics. We do expose him to other educators, like I said, with the things that we outsource, because also I don't want to limit them. So for example, my 11-year-old, he's a really, really great artist, and I take him to art studios, to get more advanced art classes, because I don't want to limit him. My 14-year-old who wants to be an engineer, I don't know advanced math. We tapped out at algebra. It was like tears in our house. So what we did was we switched gears. We did finances. We did the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. They opened up a brokerage account to start day trading every day. So they're learning that. And then at the college, they took an algebra class. I mean, I've never used Y slope intercept in my life, but I do need to know how to invest and real estate and do my taxes. And, I have to pay somebody to do my bookkeeping, but I know how to do Y slope. Like, none of that matters to me. So it doesn't make any sense. So if you're doing a couple hours a day, now the crazy thing is that a lot of families that are in public school do 2 hours of homework every day. So it's like, if you're already doing a couple hours of homework sitting there at the table, and you're doing it when your child is cranky and tired and hungry and just fed up from the day, then you think, I cannot possibly homeschool. Like, even doing 2 hours of homework is dreadful for us. I can't even imagine. But it isn't like that. It's making cakes and going on nature walks and watching a documentary about Abraham Lincoln. Like, all that is what school can look like. So it's way less than 6 hours. It's a couple hours a day at most, and you should be good. Now, as far as curriculum, so a lot of people think that curriculum has to cost a lot of money. I see a lot of new homeschoolers, hey, I'm getting Timberdoodle, or I'm getting this, or I'm getting that, and it costs like $1,000. And there's nothing wrong with that curriculum at all. But what I'm saying is that there's this misconception: the more you spend, the more quality the materials are. And we spend about $300 a year total on all our curriculum for all 6 kids, all my 5 kids plus my niece. And that's it. That's all we need. We do, can you guys hear me okay? Yeah. So we do a lot of.
Kind of sounded like it was breaking up for a minute. Do y'all hear that?
Okay.
I don't know. I didn't know if this is what you were just talking about. Sorry. I have some of your slides and I was trying to just go through them, Maria, and I put up this one where I think you kind of already talked about this. Can y'all hear me? Uh-oh, I think she got muted. There you go.
You got it? Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sound good.
Okay. So some of the curriculum that we use, since we have 6 kids, we do a lot of stuff combined. So social studies is always combined. So if we do a lesson on the Civil War, for example, I'm going to teach all of them the Civil War at the same time, or the Spanish American War, or the Tudors, or whatever we're going to do. And what I'm going to do is adjust the expectations that I have for each child, depending on what their abilities are and what their grade level is. So we do a lesson on the Civil War. The older ones are going to be taking notes, they're going to type them up, and they're going to take a test. The 5th grader is going to write 1 paragraph, and then they're going to draw the picture and do the math work. And the 1st grader is going to write 1 sentence and do the coloring page. That's it. So I'm not doing 10 different lessons, 6 different lessons a day because I got 6 different kids. I'm doing 1 lesson and then adjusting the expectations that I have of them. So that's another way, kind of like a homeschool hack, right? That you can do 2 or 3 hours a day with multiple multiple age kids. And for example, Story of the World is super affordable and it's good for ages first through eight, grades first through eight. So one set of curriculum for social studies is good for 8 years. That's all I need. I don't need to keep buying curriculum every single year. We also do something called Teacher File Box, and that gives you access to like 100 different workbooks for K through 8, even more workbooks like these history pockets, language yards, all kinds of stuff. And the subscription is $99 a year, and you get access to like 100 workbooks that you can just print up the PDF as many times as you need, put them in a little binder, and your kid has all his curriculum he needs all year long. So, I mean, that's as affordable as, I mean, you can even go no curriculum and just do videos and field trips and go to the library every day, and that's it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, Maria, what was the name of that subscription you just said? Can you chat it in, or if you tell me, I can type it in, because I know everybody's going to want the name of that one.
It's called teacherfilebox.com.
Teacher File Box. Awesome. I have never heard of that. Okay, so I don't know what order you were going through your like slides. So I was just on this one. I think we just talked about this curriculum. I didn't know if you had anything else. I just kind of have a few of your slides you gave me. So
I did it. Well, the other thing would be that we have a lot of used curriculum sales in San Diego, and if you guys don't have them in your area, set them up. I've gotten like the most incredible deals on good quality expensive curriculum. I got Answers in Genesis one time it's called God's Design for Science through Answers in Genesis, Ken Ham, and that set's like $400, and I got it one time for like $50 for like the whole set for $50, and I use it over and over again with all my kids as they grow. So there's a bunch of different ways to get free, very, very affordable curriculum that you can really get creative with and not have to spend $1,000 per kid every year. It's not necessary. It's nice, but it's not necessary.
Yes, I love that. We've done that too. Like we have some Facebook groups, and we've done, I think even locally, they've done some like buy sell trade stuff of like used curriculum, and it's been awesome for us. I also really love how, like you said, you can use it for all your kids, because the first year I spent a lot on a curriculum, and now I haven't, because we made copies of it and we're reusing it with each kid, and I realized how much we really needed, and it was like half what I bought, so it's definitely something I think a lot of people are thinking about right now. So I love that you said you're only able to spend like $300 a year for 6 kids. That's really encouraging.
Yeah. And then the next slide is how do I homeschool multiple ages? I kind of already talked about that. You kind of hack it a little bit and try to combine as many subjects as you can. So that one's a little bit easier. If your kids are within 2 or 3 years apart, move the younger one up. When I pulled my kids out of 2nd and 3rd grade, my 2 older ones, I looked at my 2nd grader and I showed him the 3rd grader stuff, and I'm like, can you look at what your other stuff is? I can do that. Threw away all his 2nd grade stuff and moved them up to 3rd grade. And now they're both 14 and 16, and they've already been in college for a year, both of them. And they're already finished their 1st year of college, completely debt-free in California. I mean, because in California, high school students can attend colleges, community college for free. And they're knocking down a bunch of their high school credits at the community college, because every community college class that's 1 semester long counts for an entire year of school, of regular high school. So they're doing a couple classes with me. We're still doing English, we're still doing apologetics, and we're still doing social studies and finances, but everything else they're taking to college. English 101, they took geography. My son kind of wants to be a lawyer a little bit, so he took administration of justice class. So there's tons of stuff. Now, the part about socialization, I think, is the biggest misconception of public school families going to homeschooling. They imagine, I think, the homeschooling of the 80s, maybe, I don't know, of the 70s or something, where it's like they're all at a table by themselves and it's like Amish style, I think. I don't know what they imagine. But like homeschool families are out all the time. My calendar is full of stuff that we do. My kids have Awana, they have soccer 3 days a week. They have all their sports, different things, plus or 2 or 3 different classes. We have a field trip every week. So it's almost like we cannot add more to our schedule because we have so much socialization. And the socialization is a natural, organic thing that happens, rather than let's stick all these kids in the same classroom. They're all the same age. They're going to spend the next 13 years together in this weird weird bubble of socialization, you know, and they and it's not natural. They're not together based on things that they like to do. They're based on they're grouped together just based on their age. That's it. Nothing else really organic or natural about it. So socialization is not really a problem at all. Once you start homeschooling, you'll start meeting other like-minded families, things that you have in common, interests that you have in common, and join in groups that do the same thing. You know, your kids all want to go swimming on Friday mornings. Everyone gets together and you guys go swim. Whatever it is, socialization is not a problem at all. And in fact, I think kids are even better socialized because you take them to the grocery store and you take them to the post office and the library. And like, I go to Mexican shop sometimes. All my kids have to speak Spanish when we go in, and I tell them, you know, nobody here speaks this, so you got to talk to them in Spanish. And they practice Spanish. They practice their public speaking skills. You know, when my kids, if they have to order a pizza, they hate being on the phone. When they're younger, they hated being. Let me call. This is what you're gonna say, and this is what you know. And you know, it teaches them how to talk to adults rather than being this awkward 8-year who can't even say hello to adults because we've never been around adults, you know. So that's a huge misconception. There's tons of socialization opportunities if you're outgoing, you know, if you're out, if you want to make connections and build community from other like-minded families. So I didn't put that slide, but
I changed it. I added a picture. I couldn't help it.
That's okay. That's okay. So, okay. Am I qualified to do this? Okay. Okay. We should have a list of like all the misconceptions that, because I keep saying this one, but I don't know. I think as modern mothers, we've been convinced that once our kids turn 5 years old, that's it. We have nothing left to teach them. It's time to send them off to the government. It's time to send them off to strangers to go get raised by someone else for the next 10 years. And I think it's really sad because it's made us feel inadequate. It's made us feel like I don't know, you know, I'm not qualified to do this. And it's wrong because from 0 to 5, we taught them everything they know, you know, how to brush their teeth and eat with a spoon and tie their shoes and share and be polite. We taught them all these things. We taught them how to talk, all these fundamental things, but suddenly they turn 5 and it's like, okay, we have nothing left. And that couldn't be further from the truth. And you're not, as a homeschool mom, required to know everything. You are required to be proactive and seek out resources if you don't know something, but you're not required to know everything. So like I said, we tapped out at algebra. And at pre-algebra, we got a tutor. So a lady would come to our house twice a week. She'd teach the lesson, and I'd help guide along the way. I don't know how to teach karate. Does a karate person need a credential? No, they don't. They need to know how to do karate. So I have a credential, and I don't know how to teach everything. So it doesn't really make me unqualified or make anyone else unqualified. The only thing you would need is to be proactive about, you know, resources. We were recently doing a couple of months ago a lesson on the Spanish American War, and I looked at it, it was coming up in our book, and I was like, guys, we're gonna do the Spanish American War. I don't know anything about this war, and I've never studied it. And they're like, Mom, no, you don't know anything about that? And I was like, no, but we're gonna learn it together. So we learned it together. They're watching my reaction. I'm like, what would you do if you were Teddy Roosevelt or you were in the Philippines? So it becomes a way to discuss things, open Socratic discussion rather than telling your kids what to think and then having them memorize it, regurgitate it on the test, and never think about it again. It becomes more of a learning together, and it's totally okay. And they see your enthusiasm for learning things that you've never heard of before. And it makes them lifelong learners and enthusiastic about reading because they see you doing it. I don't approach a new topic or a new subject with, oh, guys, I don't know how we're going to do this. I'm like, I don't know anything about this, and I'm excited to learn about it. And if you don't know, I mean, Google is there. You know, Google, it's like all the information we need is at our fingertips. So don't ever feel like you're not qualified just because you don't have a teaching credential. Honestly, that's the last thing you need to teach your kids, for sure.
Thank you, Maria. You're so awesome. I totally agree. I think one of the coolest things about homeschool for me, which it's only been like 2.5, 3 years really of us doing it now, is like I learn something new every day too. Like I think that's really fun, you know, that we get to learn together, that I get to say, wow, this is cool. No, I don't know everything. I'm learning with you. It's fun, you know? So thank you so much. That was awesome and very, very helpful and definitely very empowering. So we're going to go into a few other things, some other tips. So Maria definitely gave us tons of awesome homeschool tips. Each of the other women who are going to talk are going to share a little bit about homeschool and a little bit about one of these other subjects too. So I know some of the concerns a lot of people have right now, whether it's kids going back to school or it's kids staying home, it doesn't matter. We're worried about maybe health, or we're worried about mental, all these things, right? Like stress, anxiety, whether they're going or not. And maybe it's for you if you're homeschooling for the first time. There's some stress and anxiety for me in the beginning, like all of that. And then just them staying healthy right now in this whole season with pandemic and all that, right? So knowing that they're healthy and obviously happy too and doing well, right, in this transition and maybe in a new season of whatever they're doing. So a few things obviously that are really helpful to support this is our nutrition. So we're going to talk a little about nutrition and some ideas for that. Getting outside. I loved how Maria just talked about that. Obviously, that's our PE. Our kids do school for just a couple hours. At least in my house, that's what we do. And they get outside and they get to be who they want to be and do what they want to do and have fun and get fresh air and sunshine. And that's awesome, right? They don't spend all day in a classroom. They spend like maybe 2 hours inside with us. And we can do homeschool outside too. That's what's so cool, right? Especially if you live somewhere with nice weather. So it's fun. And then we're going to talk about essential oils because they've been such an awesome support to us, to me, for myself as a homeschool mom, and to my kids, which is awesome. Sleep is so important. Another reason I personally love homeschool, I get to sleep in, my kids sleep in. I can start homeschool whenever I want. So that's pretty nice. Mental health, we're going to talk a little about that, just how important it is, how we can support them. And then reducing toxins, because a lot of the time that can be linked to things too for them with mental and immune system and all that. So we're going to talk really quick about those few things too. So I am going to just jump into this nutrition piece for you a little bit on just healthy lunches, right? So whether you're sending your kids off, the whole week or a couple days for a hybrid, or they're staying home, this is still really important because they have to eat, they have to have fuel to help their brains and everything work right. And it's really important that we're feeding them healthy, because if your kids are getting things like food dyes and a bunch of sugar, like sugar is a big one, y'all. It's in every single thing. I'm going to try not to go on a little soapbox about this, but it's in everything. So if you can leave out sugar as much as possible, they're going to still get sugar. I'm fine with sugar. Fruit has sugar in it, natural sugars, yes, we eat things with sugar, but we try to do as much whole foods as possible and making it ourselves. We have a garden that's part of our homeschool. We grow our own food and the kids are learning about that. And then I know they're eating something fresh and whole food and they help me cook. It's really fun. It's part of homeschool. Like Maria said, that's part of everything we do is part of their homeschool. Life skills is one of the most important things that they so often, I think, are not learning enough of in school. I know I personally did not learn enough life skills in school. I did not learn about finance. I did not learn how to cook. I didn't learn any of that in school until like college. It was like, oh, wow. So I want my kids to learn those things right now. That's one reason for me why I love homeschool. So fruits and veggies, oftentimes, like I said, you're getting them out of our garden, they're fresh. That's important, but just find things they like. I mean, fruit, most kids like fruit. Not every kid's like veggies. I get that, but you can sneak them into things or whatever, making it fun, dips and things like that. My kids are big condiment eaters. And so most condiments are full of sugar too. So we've learned, recipes to make our own dips and things like that are really good. And then they might eat some tomatoes or carrots or cucumber if I give them a good dip, right? So even just peanut butter. My kids love peanut butter. That's a healthy protein. It's good for them, right? Water only, that's like a big one in our family. We don't do juice. We don't do anything with caffeine just because it just makes them more wired. They've got plenty of energy as kids. So if you can stick to water, they'll be hydrated. A lot of like kids' concerns in terms of like lack of focus and, all that, anything that you hear about, oh, this kid can't focus, this kid has whatever, ADD, blah, blah, blah. So often it's linked to diet things that we as parents maybe have caused, or they're going to school and we don't have a choice over what they're eating. So if you have the ability to, you're the parent, you set the tone, right? You decide what they eat. I love this. Include the hand sanitizer. We have On Guard, which is one of our antiviral oils, and it comes in a hand sanitizer. My kids love that. Let them have that. Teach them, that they wash their hands before every meal, things like that. So healthy lunches, making it fun with little containers too. My kids love that. They, like I said, they go one day a week. And so it's really fun for them because we are home. That makes it fun for them. Like they still feel like they're getting to go to school. They have a lunchbox, they have a backpack, you know? So even if you're staying home, let them have that stuff and let them have their little, you know, lunch things where they enjoy it and they feel like they're a part of it and they're really empowered then too. So some quick food ideas. Breakfast for us is like our biggest meal of the day. I know some people aren't that way, but we love, like as a family, we wake up, we pray together, we eat breakfast together, then we usually do worship or something like that before we even start homeschool. And that really sets the mood, the environment in my home. So if you're a quick out the door going to school or something, smoothies, oatmeal, you know, even eggs. Eggs are so quick to cook. Something that's healthy and good instead of throwing them like a bar, something loaded with sugar, right? And a bunch of empty calories. Try to give them something that's going to sustain them for a little bit because so often kids that are eating those things are then struggling in school, right? So set them up for success with something healthy and good in the morning. We pretty much eat eggs almost every morning. Like I said, breakfast is big for us. So we're like eggs, bacon, sausage almost every morning, like full breakfast because we like breakfast. We eat a big breakfast and then we can make it until like later in the afternoon before we have to make lunch. So lunches, obviously we kind of just covered this, but proteins, fruits and veggies, you know, healthy fats. Carbs are fine. I'm not anti-carbs, but, you know, just being aware of something healthy, something, you know, organic, non-GMO, sure, you know, whatever, right? If you can do it, great. If not, just try to stick to as little sugar and processed as possible because all those dyes and sugars just kind of wreak havoc on their brains and make it hard to focus and all that, right? Okay, so I get to introduce our next speaker. Jody, she's probably so happy. I just chose a random picture. Sorry, Jody. I liked this one. This only has 2 of your 3 kids in it. I don't know how I found it, but anyway, she's amazing, y'all. She is one of my homeschool like mentors. She really has taught me a lot and encouraged me. So she is amazing, and she's going to share with us a little bit more about her homeschool, whatever tips, and a little bit more about immune system and nutrition and stuff too. So take it away, Jody.
Hey, everybody. Wow, that was when my 8-year-old was a snaggletooth for sure. Look at those gaps. I think that's 2 years old now. I don't know. Anyway, I look the same. Hey guys, so Maria, thank you for everything that you covered. You didn't leave a whole lot on the table for me to add to. And like Kelsey said in the beginning, her and I kind of do the same thing. So I'm just going to add a few things to what we do and maybe like why I chose to homeschool. The biggest reason I chose to homeschool was a conviction. It was a salvation issue. That was the biggest reason. I wanted my kids to grow up with that strong foundation that I didn't have. So that was a big reason. Number 2 is our time freedom. We have big dreams and goals to be able to travel whenever we want, take the kids on a road trip and learn via that way. Like that just sounds so cool to me. We're also big on simple living. I'm not a lot of the misconceptions is that homeschool moms are extremely organized and they've got everything together, and that is not me. I don't like the rat race of modern society, so homeschool allows me to pick and choose how busy we get and what we spend our extra time doing, and I want to make sure that's good quality, valuable things that we're spending our extra time on, because we really don't have that much time in the American culture. My husband, you know, he gets home at night and it's usually, you know, the routine. They get home, put the kids to bed, and then we're all tired. So at least with homeschool, you know, I'm at home with the kids and we can kind of make our own schedule throughout the day. So, so again, traveling, time freedom, those are the reasons why we choose to homeschool. And then Maria, you touched on core classes and the things that if you graduated from public school, you should at least feel somewhat qualified to teach those things, right? Like if we all pass that stuff, we should feel at least somewhat qualified to teach that to our kids. And if we reach a point, like there's probably going to be a point in math where I'm like, whoop, I forgot all of that. Then there are things that we can do and people that we can reach out to. And it's great to have that community. Here where we're at, we do have a co-op, and we do things together with other moms and just collaborate. And I don't know what happens in the public school with teachers, but I'm sure they collaborate as well. So, collaboration is huge, and having a community to support you when you're having one of those days where you're like, we didn't get anything done, the baby threw a fit all day and it was a flop, but somebody told me one time, which was super encouraging, and I remind myself in those moments where we got literally 20 minutes of work done that day, is that 18 minutes one-on-one with one child is equivalent to an entire day at school. So when you think about that, like your kids in a school or in a classroom with 20 to 25 students are getting bigger. These classes are getting bigger. They don't get that one-on-one time, and the amount of things that the teacher can teach in the 50 minutes to an hour, and everybody understands, is equivalent to that, 18 minutes one-on-one. So it makes me feel better when we have one of those days where things just don't go the way it's supposed to. The baby wakes up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and, I'm dead by noon, and, the house is a disaster and we need to do chores. So I really like, having that community and that support and those kind of things. And as far as like the curriculum, I was so excited to homeschool my 3-year-old, which now I look back and I'm like, come on, we didn't need curriculum as a 3-year-old, right? Just get some like egg cartons and beans and whatever, and have fun. But I have spent, and not a lot of money because I bought all of it used, but when somebody posts like used curriculum, I have to restrain myself. We've had to buy 2 new bookshelves just this year to put all of my books on. So don't go crazy. And then the things that we actually use, you can see my mess back here of what all we use right now. But this is for 2 kids. So just don't buy into the, I have to have all of this stuff and all of these things to homeschool, because literally my son's first grade year, we use a Walmart, like the Scholastic math book and phonics, and it was like the best year we had. And everything else, we went to the library and checked out all kinds of fun books, whatever he was interested in that week. So it can be super simple. You don't have to be crazy organized, as you can tell that I am not. So, Kelsey. Okay, so I am going to talk about the immune support part of everything that Kelsey shared. So this is really big for my family. It should be really big for everybody right now. We want to stay healthy and really boost our immune systems. We do homeschool, but we don't stay home. We're not afraid to go out and do fun things because we have our tools. Diet is a huge one that Kelsey talked about, but having these right here really brings peace of mind. So we have the On Guard Protective Blend going in our diffuser right there, all over the house. We've still had a few visitors here and there, so we keep it going just to keep the air clean and sanitized. My kids love Stronger. They love the entire kids line, actually. They know exactly which one to go for when they need something, especially during school time. There's a few of them that they like to grab. But Stronger is when we do it at nighttime, and they all know it, even the 2-year-old, and they know how to roll it on their feet and up their spine every single day. And then some other good support right now is Breathe. Just with, we're in Texas, y'all, and you talked about nice weather and staying outside. We've been inside because it was 107 today. So we stayed in the house most of the day. We did it this morning for a few hours and then we were done. But allergies are big. It's dusty. It's getting dry. So Breathe is huge. We like to have that in the diffuser as well at night, or just apply it all over our sinuses too. Lemon is great for congestion as well, for gargling, and drinking it in your water every single day is a great way to cleanse, detox, flush everything out of your body. And then DDR Prime is a good one for, we use this in our immune roller. I forgot all about this, Kelsey. I have this in the immune roller for my son. It helps with his immune system, but it also helps with his focus, his memory, and he's probably borderline ADD, so it helps with those things as well. So these are all really, really good tools that we have for our school day. Okay, so Kelsey talked about food. Okay, my kids are the most picky kids ever. Probably not, but that's how I feel. Anything that's green, they don't want to touch it. We've just recently got them to eat avocados because they actually just tried them and they're good, right? So what I like to do is make them smoothies. So I will use the Terra Greens and actually use our protein powder as well. And just had those veggies in there really good, put some other yummy, tasty fruit, blend it in. It might be a tad bit green, but I just put it in like a cup you can't see through, right? So here's your smoothie. It's just a great way to fill those gaps until I can eventually get them to start eating it, whenever that happens. The funny thing is about these vitamins, so we went from, before I got introduced to all of this, we went from like the gummies, the one-a-day terrible sugar-filled gummies, to these A to Z vitamins. And I was like, my kids are never gonna eat these. Like, I just smelled them and you could smell, they smell good, but you can smell the veggies. Like, they're never. And my 2-year-old literally climbs up on the counter and sneaks them out of the cabinet. So I don't know, that's a win, right? So they love these vitamins. The IQ Omega, it's an orange flavor. I actually hide this in the smoothie as well. Some kids will take it straight, but mine, picky again. And so I'll throw it in and say, it's an orange blueberry smoothie or whatever. And they love it that way. So obviously omegas are great for our brain health, and our kids are developing their brains and learning. And so this really, really helps them as well. Some other ones here, the probiotics, another one my kid climbs into the cabinet for. They literally taste like candy. The PB Assist Junior, they're little sachets. I love them too. I have to restrain myself. But if we're ever having like a sugar craving, we go for the probiotics first, and that usually takes care of it. But you know, probiotics are huge, again, for the immune system, because our gut is where everything happens. So we need to make sure we have that good gut bacteria, and our kids have that good gut bacteria so they can fight off all the bad guys in their body, right? And then for adults, we have our Lifelong Vitality Pack. I noticed right away when I haven't taken this, I think I've actually skipped 2 days in DUC. I'm pretty tired, y'all. So our Lifelong Vitality Pack does so many things. I don't do coffee and really any caffeine. So this helps me get through the day. And it just helps so many other things in our body, our digestive health, arthritis. I mean, so many cool things that this vitamin, it's your whole food. So again, if you don't like your leafy greens and you don't want to hide Terra Greens from yourself, just take your supplements, because it has kale and broccoli and spinach and Brussels sprouts and all of those lovely things that we need on a daily basis. And then of course our PB Assist is the adult version of the probiotic. It's a prebiotic and a probiotic, and it's amazing how it works. Most probiotics don't really have the timing down to where it should release. It has to release in this specific spot in your stomach so that it can release all that bacteria, and ours is does the trick.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, you know, any kids like 6 and up, or once they'll swallow a pill, they can do these too. Like my kids personally don't like the IQ Mega either, Jody, the liquid Omega, and the Omega is so important for them for brain development and focus and all the things that they need, right? And so I could tell such a huge difference. I have my son just swallow one of these XD Omega pills, and they're little bitty, so he's 6, he can swallow them. And that's a great way too if they won't drink the liquid or whatever, but the little ones will. But anyway, older kids can take the, like, you know, I give them one of each of these or whatever too. I even give my son Alpha CRS. I was worried that it might make him have more energy since it gives me energy, but it also really helps with like focus and memory. And so I think it helps him with homeschool time. Like he does these and I do these in the morning. So anyway, it's awesome. And then Jody, I don't know if you wanted to talk about detoxing or baths. Do you do baths? I do this.
Yeah, we do baths. I didn't know if you wanted me to get on like the soapbox on why I use these or when I would use these. So I was kind of refraining. But I think like anytime your kid has been exposed to something or maybe they're just not feeling well, and an Epsom salt bath does amazing things for them, just feeling better. Um, so like, well, I do lavender even when I do feel good because it makes me feel even better. I've never been a bath person until oils, and it's just like, oh, if you've had a rough day, get in the bath with some lavender and some frankincense, and it's amazing. Um, but as far as like the detox, it's great for that. So I would say you could use this on the verge of maybe getting sick to kind of help knock it out. Anything else you want to say? Because I don't want to get in trouble for what I use this for.
Jody, you can share anything you want to share. There are no regulations on this class. Hey, my kids do lavender and either eucalyptus or tea tree oil every night in their bath. And my kids all love taking baths. And I do like one little scoop of Epsom salt, and then I'll put a few drops of oil in the Epsom salt and pour it in the bath. And that just helps it go in. And honestly, just Epsom salt is detoxing and awesome to your body, and so then when you add lavender, anything like that, I like the lavender because it's bedtime, so it helps with the whole like wind down process for them. And then tea tree is so antiviral and so good. Like I feel like it just cleans them. Even if they just sit in that water, they get clean with tea tree or eucalyptus if they're like got sinus stuff. So I like that. But I mean, I'm with you. I think this is more for like the homeschool moms. We all need a bath every night with Epsom salt and lavender and copaiba just to like, because copaiba is amazing for anxiety and stress and pain and all the things. So, and of
Okay, I have a concern. Who here bathes their kids every single night?
No.
Okay, I feel better. You were like, my kids take a bath every single night. I'm like,
did I say every night?
Go to bed dirty.
I meant like when they get a bath. I think it's really
Okay.
helpful for them to get.
Checking.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you, Jody. You're amazing. Is there anything else you want to add? I think that's the last one.
I mean, if you do vaccinate your kids, you can do this as well afterwards, and it would help, help detox all the heavy metals and all of that junk.
Yes. Let's stick to one controversial topic at a time. Right now. I'm just kidding.
But yes, I forgot. Sometimes we do when we have like I don't know, sunburns or something where we don't want to scrub. We do just a couple of drops of lavender and a couple of drops of tea tree, and I tell them just kind of like switch around in there because it's antibacterial, antifungal. It's going to kill everything, and I'm not having to like scrub their skin.
Yeah, that's why we started doing that, because my kids had eczema and you don't want to do soap and they're so sensitive. So I'm like, you're getting clean just soaking in here. It's awesome. So awesome. Thank you, Jody. All right, Cass. I'm excited because Cassie's like our amazing hybrid, does all the things, y'all. She's homeschooled. She takes her kids. She's amazing. So anyways, I'm going to let Cass share a little bit of her story and whatever she wants to share.
Hi, y'all. My name's Cassie. These are my wonderful children. This was actually just Wednesday. I don't even know what today is. Say Thursday? Good golly, it's been a long week. All right, so this was just yesterday, and our kids started school. So we started out homeschooling because it was just really heavy on my heart. We lived kind of in a bigger town, and I was like, we just didn't feel comfortable with it. We didn't feel comfortable sending him to school. My middle, which is the cute little one in the green shirt there. So my kids are 3, 5, and 7. So my middle, he's a handful, to say the least. And especially when it came time for him to start going to school and things like that, we were like, oh my gosh, public school is gonna eat this kid alive. Like for lunch, I don't know who's gonna be worse. If my kid's gonna be worse, or if the teacher's gonna be it's just gonna be a bad mix, y'all. So we kept looking for options. Thankfully, about the time he would have gone to pre-K, we moved, and we're in this cute little town, and the public school here is great. We have nothing against their public school, and that's people always get so offended because they're like, well, why don't you like our school? I'm like, it's not that. So we found this adorable school. It's called Grace Christian Academy. And we can basically send our kids whenever we want. And so we started out homeschooling, of course, and now we send the two big kids 3 days a week to Grace Christian, and we homeschool 2 days a week. And it just gives us so much freedom. And the cool part is that we still homeschool, like we're still under the homeschool umbrella. So we don't have to follow any guidelines. They don't have to go to school any amount of time. If they miss, as long as they have grades marked in their grade book for 4-H, that's all that matters. And I love that. I love the fact that there's nobody telling me exactly what my kids need to learn or how they need to learn it or anything like that. And so it's the freedom. My husband's a firefighter. So if we went to public school 5 days a week and he worked on the weekends, my kids would never see him. And it was really hard for us because we're very close family. Like we want to travel, we want to do all the things, and my kids miss their dad. And he's a huge part of their life. Like, comes to history, I'm out. He comes in, he teaches them history because like it's not my jam, y'all. So like we love the family time, and we were talking about it last night, and it's the fact that we want our kids with us more days than they're at school. And that's the cool part. Like the teacher said yesterday, Keegan got done with her schoolwork by noon and just basically played the rest of the day. I was like, great, that's cool. But that's what you can do in a private school, and that's what you can do in homeschooling. Like they said, if they're done in an hour, 2 hours, awesome, let's go play, whatever. And we just love the freedom of it. Like we are very adaptable. We get to leave for a week or 2 at a time. We also stock show. We're very involved in 4-H. My kids do cooking class, and my oldest is going to start horse club this year. We show sheep. We travel all over the state, and eventually the United States showing sheep. So it just kind of gives us the freedom to live the life that we want, and our kids get to learn on the road. And I swear they already know more than I do. And it's just like my life experience. And I love that. But I also love the fact that they get to go to school. So nobody's bashing public school or anything right now. But right now you'll have some really hard decisions to make. And I'm just so thankful that there are options for everybody out there. Even though they're not all the same, we all have options that fit us best. So I love that. I think I'm supposed to be talking about sleep. Yes. So coolest thing ever. So y'all, we've been on vacation for what, like 9 months now, even though we homeschool, right? We've still been on vacation for like 9 months. Let's be real. Like once the world went crazy, I was like, all right, I'm done. As long as we're reading a book a day, I'm happy. Okay. So I was so worried when school started yesterday. I was like, oh, sleeping. Like my kids can sleep till 10 o'clock in the morning if they want to. Like, I'm like, I don't care. As long as it's quiet in your room by 8 o'clock and I don't see you again till you wake up, I'm fine. And so then I was so worried on Tuesday. I was like, okay, got to get this routine down. So of course we did like the Serenity soap at night, like bar soap all over, because we don't have bathtub, so we don't get to do the cool Epsom salt and soaking thing. But the Serenity bar soap is awesome. And okay, so everywhere, that is like a nightly routine. And yes, my kids have to bathe almost every night, Jody, just because they're disgusting. They're gross. Like you don't even know. Okay. So yeah, I'm like, you have to at least get in there and rinse off before you get into bed, because I don't want to wash the sheets. See, it's just more work before it's all said and done. So we do that. Serenity and Breathe is normally in our diffuser or their diffuser every night, 2 diffusers. Because it's a giant room. They share a room, but it's a giant room. So so finally got our Calmer oil back. I had given it away, and Keegan was so mad, and I'm like, it's fine, we're not going to school right now, it's fine. So we finally got our Calmer oil in on Monday, thank the Lord. And I was like, here babe, here's your oil. So on Tuesday, and she's the one that I have trouble with sleeping, on Tuesday she puts her Calmer oil on, and I'm like, everybody in bed by 7:30, nobody's moving. Those kids were asleep by 7:45, y'all. Calmer everywhere. I was so impressed. I was like, oh, I shouldn't have given that away. I mean, it was good. That's why I gave it to him to try. But yeah, no, I'm glad it's back. So these oils are awesome. The other night, Keegan was having some severe like anxiety. She's the 7-year-old. And so I put 1 little drop of copaiba under her tongue. And she's high stress kid. Like she's stressed about everything. What if 2nd grade is hard? What if, all the things. I was like, okay, drop a copaiba, you're fine. And instantly, like not even, I don't think it was 10 minutes later, she was like, okay, mom, I feel better. Tomorrow's going to be great. Yes, thank the Lord for Copaiba once again. And then balance is my favorite and my youngest favorite because we're very emotional little creatures. So balance keeps us grounded. And I do combine balance and serenity in the diffuser whenever it's been a really hard day. But I think a routine is super important when it comes to your oils. Like you don't have to have a routine. If you homeschool or whatever, you don't have to have a routine, but have a routine with your oils. Have them on hand to know what works for you. And, you know, like if you're homeschooling wherever you are, make sure you have the ones that work for you. If you're going to sleep, make sure those are by the bed. Like have that routine down because I think it's so important. And my kids, once again, I don't know, it's not even 9 o'clock. They don't have school tomorrow and they're already asleep. And it's just so thankful for the oils because I need my sanity. It's bad.
You're amazing. Seriously, I need to try Calmer. I put it on the little one every night, but I forget the big ones.
Yeah. Well, and Caleb's, it's funny though, because like Caleb, if he can pick one, his favorite one is the orange, no, I don't know, Brave, whatever color that is. Brave is his favorite. So he's like, Brave all over every night. And then Cash is the little one, and he loves the green one, Steady. So it's like each of them have the ones that they love and what works for them. And so like, okay, Caleb, the middle one, my crazy, he takes Motivate and Passion to school with him. Those are the ones that he takes to school and puts on himself because those are his favorites. And I'm like, okay, like to me, Motivate would be like make you hyper, like what? No, it actually calms him down. So every kid is different, but if you let them choose, it's amazing. Good things happen all the way around. But reducing toxic load. Sorry, y'all. I can go on and on. Like all these oils are amazing. But so this is huge for us and for me. When I had my first kid and even my second, I had no idea. Like I had no idea that the shampoo you're using can have hormone disruptors in it. I had no idea that the cleaner, the Clorox wipes that I'm having my kids help me clean the kitchen with is actually toxic to them. Like there were just so many things that I didn't realize. Like I just grew up this way. So this is what I'm going to do. And then as I started getting more into the oils and spending more time with Kelsey and going to more of these classes, I was like, oh man, there's things I could change and maybe it would help us. Like, you know, I had 4 miscarriages before I had my oldest. And as time has gone on and I've changed so many things in my life, then we had our sweet little oops baby and he was now 3, you know, and I swear, I tell Kelsey every time, I'm like, this is because, this is my doTERRA baby. Like, this is because we got rid of all the junk in our house and we use nothing but natural products. And I swear it's all Kelsey's fault that Cash is here. I mean, we're happy now, don't get me wrong, but it's amazing what getting rid of a lot of those products can do. And so now whenever you're using the On Guard, all On Guard products because you're getting an immune boost, but my kids can use the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. You know, their chores are, you know, they have to keep the bathroom clean, so they have to clean the toilet, they have to wash the sink, they have to clean the shower, all those things. Then they use On Guard Cleaner Concentrate for all of it. And I'm like, okay, if you 3-year-old accidentally eats it, we're fine. Just don't put the toilet brush in your mouth and we're going to survive today. It's fine. But the same thing, like my 7-year-old can now do laundry. I don't have to worry about her and like the Tide Pods or anything like that. She can use the On Guard laundry detergent, put it in the washer. I don't have to worry if she spilled a half a thing on the floor. It's fine. It's going to smell great, but the floor is going to be fine. We're all going to survive. So there's just so many different things. Like, and that's another reason why I love like our school. So it kind of all goes back to our school, like going back to Grace Christian, like even the hand sanitizers we're using now are toxic, y'all. And we're putting it on our babies. We're putting it on our kids every single day. You're putting like, it scares me to the fact that I'm like, what in 10 years, what are we going to be fighting? Like what is the new thing that our kids are going to be fighting, or we're going to be fighting from using these every single day? They're not meant to be used every single day. And both my kids have their On Guard hand sanitizing sprays on their desks, and they use them as many times as they want. And the teachers don't make them use regular hand sanitizer. And it's such a blessing because I'm like, I don't want to have to fight with anybody about that, but it's something that I would fight with somebody about, you know, because I don't want them to have those chemicals on them every day. So there's just so many options, and seriously every single thing in your house can be switched out by something in doTERRA, and normally it's going to be cheaper, it's going to be more effective, and it's going to last longer. I'm like, come on, that's a win.
Yes. You're awesome, Kat.
So
I also asked our school if I could donate diffusers, and they said yes, because it's a private school too. So I know even some public schools can do diffusers in the classrooms and stuff too. So you might ask, hey, if I bring a diffuser and some On Guard, will you use it? And I was surprised. They were like, yes, can we have one for every age? I'm like, oh, sure. I just met my kids.
oh crap,
They were excited, you know? So I was like, that's awesome, right?
that's amazing. Yes, that is so amazing.
At least I don't have to worry that they're going to be like Lysoling my kids and putting, you know, poison hand sanitizer on them. I'm like, I would rather pay, so I know you're not using that, right? So that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yay. All right, y'all. So here's our next speaker. She didn't want me to put this, but y'all, she just finished her degree in early childhood studies, and she's a rock star. So, Lacey, you may share with us.
Yay. Hi, you guys. So yeah, I'm Lacey Bowman. I am considering homeschool for this school year, and I haven't done it before. So I'm like many of the parents out there right now where you're like, at every single option available. But I'm feeling better about this. So thank you guys for being so encouraging. So I work also at an elementary school. So I'm kind of in both worlds right now. And I can say that it's a hot mess everywhere right now. And that I definitely think public school has its place. There are lots of families and kids where it's safer for their kids to be in school. And I know there are tons of good-hearted teachers out there doing their best they can. In the world we live in and in the circumstances, there it is. They just can't do what a homeschool mom can do for each individual student. So shout out to public school moms. Public school moms are like, please take my children, I get it. Good teachers and homeschool moms, we're all trying to figure out what's best for our family, and that changes sometimes. Right now may be the time, it may not. So I have been using oils as well, and I use them to support my children. I have a second and third grader this year, and we have definitely used oils to support them in school, sending them off and when they get home and helping with routines. So the main part that we've used them for in terms of school has been in the mental health aspect. So these oils, I love every single one of these. And I have two very different children, both on the spectrum, one on like the high end of the spectrum, like ADHD as well, and then one on the very low end of the spectrum with like low muscle tone and hard to engage. So it's super fun over here, you guys, with like 5 kids. I can't handle y'all. I have 2, and they're perfect. So we definitely use my one who is the high end. We use Steady for him because he needs to like rein it in and like bring it to a place where he can be productive. And I feel like that's been really hard for us in public school because it's definitely for the teacher's sanity and for the productivity of an entire classroom of 25 or 30 students. It has to be streamlined, and there has to be compliance, and there isn't a whole lot of room for the open-minded thinking and activity that a lot of kids have, and my son is definitely that way. So we use Steady, and that just helps him have like a more smooth start to the day. He reapplies it at lunchtime. Some schools are different. You may have to like leave them in the front office with the nurse because especially here in California, it may just be our thing. They're concerned that they're going to be like the schoolyard drug dealer, like passing around stuff. So they're like, nothing, no, you can't bring anything. But if you leave it in the office, sometimes the nurses will let them have it and then they can just come up and use it. And then my younger son, who is definitely timid and has a harder time in relationships and just in school. It's really tough for him. So he uses Brave, and I love Brave. And I just love like telling him, like when we put him on, like this is going to help you, but like giving them the words and the vocabulary to go along with what you're hoping for them. Like, I want you to be brave. I want you to feel like it's okay to make mistakes. You know, the mindfulness and growth mindset is a big deal right now. Like, you learn from making mistakes. It's okay. So we use those two a lot. Balance, I use a lot for myself. My husband also uses Balance. I like it a lot. It's very like sweet but woodsy, and it's really good for just feeling like when you're overwhelmed, you can just kind of relax a little bit. It kind of brings you down. Copaiba we've talked a lot about, and it is really good for anxiety. A lot of people who suffer from anxiety, Copaiba and Adaptive, the one next to it, those two have been huge. For my younger son, we use Adaptive on him a lot, and for myself and my husband, anxiety attacks and sometimes behavioral outbursts are, especially in really young ones, you know, with or without special needs, they're so little, sometimes they have a hard time even understanding their behavior, right? They just act out and they don't understand why. So this is one of our most go-to oils, because we just start here and then you want to have a conversation with your kids. And so like if you are considering homeschool, and even if not, the world we're living in where we live, you have to do distance learning, and it's been so tough on the kids. Like I said, I work at an elementary school and I have my two boys, so I see full circle of it's so tough, and kids need people and they need community, and they're really missing out right now. So I know a lot of kids have struggled with it. So these would be great oils to try. And then Wild Orange is great because it's such an uplifting oil that sometimes that's just what you need. Like you said, setting the mood. And then Focus. So I use these for my kids, but honestly, I use these more for me. So my ADHD son gets that probably from me. So, and like his crazy, like it affects mine. So like if he's going and I'm going and nothing's getting done and our house is destroyed by the time we're done, and my husband's like, why do I have you people? So Intune is like my spirit animal oil. I am such a better person because of it. I really am. It really helps me so much. So it's our focus. And so it's like all of these perfect oils. And I'm telling you, I'm like, I'll do a little Hitler mustache right here because I want it, like, I want to smell it. And it like immediately knocks my vibrating crazy energy down to where I can actually assess everything that I have to do and like actually do it. It's amazing. So then two other of our kids oils are Thinker and Tamer. So Thinker is our focus blend specifically for kids. So this one I use on my son more, and he likes it too. And I think just giving them the tools and giving them the words at the same time is so important. So if I see him nutsy cuckoo, I don't just yell at him. Mostly. And I say, hey, what are you feeling right now? And he usually says excited, because for him, he thinks it's fun. It's not fun, okay? And I say, okay, so I feel like you're feeling energetic, you know, and I say, is right now a good time to be energetic, or should we be maybe more calm and focused? And he's like, calm and focused. So then we'll put it on. I said, okay, so this is just to help you calm down. We do some little breathing techniques. And once he's feeling very zen, you know, we keep on keeping on. And then another combo you can use is the peppermint and wild orange together is really good for focus too. Do I have something else, Kelsey?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I was still muted. I think that's it. I was just looking and wondering, like, Tamer. I didn't realize Tamer was on there for focus.
Oh, I didn't talk about Tamer. I don't know, but okay, that's the digestive blend, which is completely unrelated. But we use that one anyways, because whatever, you have kids, you're going to have all the tummy things, even not going to school. Okay. They still will find it somewhere. The meat counter, I have people who lick the meat counter at the store. Can I tell you how stressed out my life is right now with COVID? I'm like, stop licking things. The masks have helped, but yes. So Tamer is more for digestive support, and it works great.
Oh my God. I love you every time. I'm like crying. So I was reading the chat too. I think Anna shared and said Thinker has helped her son with ADHD. And Cassie, what did you say? Oh, Keegan used Thinker and then wanted something stronger. So you did the Intune for her too. Oh, that's awesome. I haven't done Intune enough with my kiddos. I've done Thinker, but I haven't tried Intune. So I might need to try that one. We usually do Thinker and Adaptive like every morning. That's our homeschool routine from both my kids. They love the Thinker. So, and diffusing peppermint wild orange is awesome, but I actually like to diffuse Adaptive more than anything. I noticed that because maybe it's for me. It helps me with the stress and the focus. But hey, I'm with you, Joe. Like Lacey, like you said, Intune is the one I need. I have to focus because if I'm ADD and then I'm trying to help my kids not be, it's not good.
Oh, and it's bad. Like if I finally get them organized and then I'll be like so distracted, something will happen and be like, oh, let's do a dance party real quick and then come back. I'm like, you can't do that to an 8-year-old. Come on, Lacey, get it together. Like that's not how life works for them. And then the last thing I wanted to say was I've heard a lot of you guys just mentioning like we do our school and then they go play. Like play is just what they get to do for fun. But play is so, so, so important for young kids, and they don't get enough of it at school. And usually when they have kids like mine who misbehave, because they have nothing else, they take recess away. And it's so important for them to have an outlet. So I think having like movement breaks and like if your kid's just being nutsy cuckoo, then adapt and just take a little time to do that. So play is not something to appreciate.
Yes, I totally agree with that, especially since I think a lot of us have kids that are super high energy. Like, I think it's really important. I know Jody's told me this, and I got this idea from her, but I got one of those small little trampolines, and I do make I make him do push-ups now too. Maybe that's mean, but I'm like, go do something when he's not focusing. I'm like, push-ups, or I'm like, do some jumping jacks, jump on the trampoline. Like, that's something that's really cool that they don't have in a public school setting where they're not going to get that, right? Like, I get to say, you need a movement break, like you said, kind of thing. That's really cool. Jody,
We do movement plus learning. So I'll say go jump on the trampoline and count by 2s, or go jump on the trampoline and count by 5s. So he's getting his energy out, and also we're doing our math at the same time. So yes, thank you for mentioning that, Lacey. Like, yes, I do send my kids away because I think they should have their own uninterrupted playtime, do whatever you want. But then we also have things that we do together too, but it's still play.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And push-ups
are add the math in. I like that. What'd you say? Push-ups are discipline? That's what I do. I'm like, do some push-ups. All right. So for those who are having to do masks or anything like that, the oils are something else that can help with masks. I think all of us, at least adults, are having to wear masks right now when we're going out. So not my favorite thing, I'm not going to lie. But being able to wash it every day or replace it, I'm not using the like little cheap one. I have one that we can just wash, and then putting oils in it. If you haven't done that yet, if you have a mask, try putting some oils in it. I know a lot of people are doing peppermint. It makes it smell better. It actually opens your airways so you don't feel like you're suffocating, which is me. I get claustrophobic as soon as I put that thing on. So it really helps you like feel like you're breathing. And then on top of that, peppermint's just really good for you, boosting your immune system and keeping you awake and alert, energized. So peppermint's got so many good benefits too. Some people are doing On Guard. If you are wanting just an extra immune boost, On Guard in your mask. Just make sure you're not putting it like where it's going to get right on your skin, but you can put it where you're just breathing it in. This is talking about, I think, for kids. I don't think my kids don't have to wear masks. I don't know if kids do. Maybe they do in California, but if they do, practicing at home, making it fun for them. Anyway, so just wanted to share that little part. Okay, so I think we've talked about almost all of these kid oils, but I just want to hit really quickly one more time on these kid oils because they are awesome. And my favorite thing about the kid line, which is these 6 right here, well, Tamer's not on there actually. There's one more. So anyway, there's actually 7 now. There's the digestive blend that Lacey just talked about too. But this kid line is designed to empower your kids. So it's not like, hey, you need this to calm down, you need this, and we're telling them and we're doing it. It's like they choose. So I love that part. I'm so about empowering our kids. Everything about using oils and natural stuff and homeschool and everything we've been talking about this class, in my opinion, it's empowering our kids. And we're shaping the next generation, right? So we want them to feel empowered, and I want them to get to choose the oil they want, know what it's supporting them for. And this makes it so fun and so easy because they have little hooks. My kids take them to school with them when they go to school. When they're out, they have them in their bedrooms. They're safely diluted. I don't have to worry about anything in these oils hurting them. They're natural. I mean, it's fine. They ingest them, whatever. Like my baby will lick the ball. I'm like, it's fine. Okay, just, be careful that the ball doesn't like fall out if you have a baby. That's the only thing I'm going to say. But other than that, like they can play with these. These are safe, right? So, and it has right on the top, I love this, it tells you what kind of part of their body it helps with. So like you can see Calmer, it's a brain. Brave, it's their heart, right? So like this is, mental, emotional, and then physical. This one's a body, like a guy on Stronger and on Rescuer. Rescuer's, I think, the only one maybe we didn't hit, which in this class, because that's the one for like growing pains, any kind of pains. So like soothing blend for the kids. And then they get to know what they're for. And, if you have an awesome kid like Jody, he literally got all the cards and like read them and did his own class. Talk about empowered. He knows how to use every oil and he can teach all his friends. And that's what my kids have done too. Like when they went to school, they were like, here, you need this. I remember my daughter, her first day at the private school when they were just going one day a week. She was pre-K and she had never gone anywhere. She had been with me her whole life. She was nervous, and Brave is her favorite, the Brave one. And man, she puts it on. And then when I was there with her, one of the little girls in the class was like sad, first day of school, whatever. And I was so proud of her because she was instantly like, hey, and like pulled it out of her backpack and was like, do you want this? And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's so awesome. And that's something too, I don't know necessarily at public school if they'd be able to do that, maybe some schools, but at the private school, they were like, sure, let her put the oil on. I was like, yes, win, and that little girl was so happy. So it's just really, really cool to get to empower your kids with these oils. And obviously there's lots and lots of tools, but I think this is one thing that I think everybody needs, every mom needs, and every kid needs through transitions and everything different this year, no matter what you're doing, whether they're going to school, whether they're doing both, whether they're at home. They need these. Trust me, they will thank you. And it makes it fun for them. It's not like a medicine or a vitamin. Some of the stuff we talked about, not necessarily fun, right? Healthy lunches, whatever. But this will be fun for them. They will love this and be empowered by this. So that's pretty much all we have. So I wanted to see if anybody that's on still had any other questions or wanted to share anything else. Cass, you said breathe. I guess that was for the mask. Anna said she sprays On Guard on her mask. That's a great idea too. Do y'all have any questions about anything? We covered so much. It was awesome. Sorry we went longer than I was hoping to, but you guys, that was really, really good. So thank y'all so much. Does anybody have anything? No? Okay. Well, I'm going to really quickly tell you guys about some of the oils that we just talked about if anybody's interested in that. So if you're interested in purchasing, there is 3 ways to purchase. You can purchase retail. This is the most expensive. Nobody really wants to do this. This would be like if you went to a health food store or something to buy oils. You can purchase wholesale, which is like a membership like Costco or Sam's Club. This is what most customers do. With doTERRA, you get to save 25%. There is a one-time membership fee of $35 when you purchase that way. The third way and the best way is below wholesale. So not only do you get your 25%, but you actually get to earn points for free products by using our loyalty program. And if you purchase a kit, then it's bundled and you save even more. So I'm going to go through a couple. So we talked about this one, so I just wanted to hit on this again because this is an awesome, awesome kit. So this kids kit, not only does it come with all of these 7 oils, but they come with the cute little tops they can hook them on. It also comes with the flashcards for your kids. So like I was saying, Jody's son knows every single one because, mine can't read that good yet. So he just like has to color coordinate and be like, what's this one for? He knows a couple, but once they're reading, they can read and it says right on here, this supports you when you're feeling nervous, when you're feeling, it's so empowering to them, right? And it comes in this awesome little case. So this is $105 if you already are a member. If you're not, it would be $140 to sign up as a member of doTERRA, like a wholesale member, get that discount. You'd spend $140 to get this. So that's an awesome option. And then there's this option for other, you know, new people. A lot of the oils we talked about tonight are in here. This is our top 10 most commonly used oils. A diffuser, super important. Whether you're homeschooling or not, you're going to want a diffuser. $160. So this one saves you the $35 membership. You're paying $160 just to get all these oils at a discount. And then the other option is our Simple Solutions, which is $105. That gets you Lemon, On Guard, and Serenity, 3 that we talked a lot about. Deep Blue Rub, which is for muscle pain. This is how you get your husband to convince him to let you buy some oils, because he will love this Deep Blue Rub. And then you can customize and add on. So then you can add on just a couple of the kid oils. Maybe you just want Thinker and Brave or whatever. You could add whatever you want to this one. And this one saves you the $35 membership fee as well. So this is a really popular option too for people getting started. And obviously for anybody who already is, you can buy any of these things, but I highly recommend that kids collection if you haven't got it yet. That's a great back to school thing. And this month we also have on sale the Thinker, Motivate, and Intune. Is that right? Did I say those 3 right? Okay. It was like, so 3 of those oils we talked a lot about. I think that was back on like the focus slide, right? That we talked about for a while was Thinker for your kids, one of the kid oils. Intune is the one we talked about for kids, moms, whoever, for focus, both of those for focus. And then Motivate. We didn't talk a ton about Motivate. I think Cassie talked about one of her kids loving it, but Motivate is a great oil for moms, kids, anybody who needs motivation in the morning. Me, it really helps me, and it helps with like adrenal fatigue even. So it just supports your body to just wake up, be excited. Lacey, are you going to sing a Motivate song for us? Is that what you're offering?
It was a one-time deal only.
Darn it. Well, so that's pretty much it. If you aren't already a member of our community, we would love to have you. It's really fun. It's educational, lots and lots of support, ongoing giveaways every week. We have a community on Facebook. If you're not on Facebook, we do things on Zoom once a week too for continuing education and all kinds of goodness. So if you decide to join our community, we would love that. So I also have an app. If you guys haven't downloaded this yet, I can give you the link to download an app. And it's basically like an oil usage app that you can have with you anywhere on the go. So I just wanted to offer that for free to y'all. I will put it in the comments, or when I post this later, I can put it in the comments. Anyways, and it'll help you kind of when you're like thinking what oil does what, because it can be overwhelming, right? You know, a lot of us have a book, you know, but this is so convenient when you're out and about and you get a bee sting and you just want to know, hey, do I have something for it that's in my purse? Hopefully you have lavender, right? Or frankincense or something. But until you kind of start using them and learn, this will really, really help you. So that's a free download from me. You just have to click the link I'm going to put in here. And that is it. So thank y'all again so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, anybody who's watching this later, if you have questions, just comment and let us know. Thank y'all.